Friends, today I am going to talk about mutual funds, and I will briefly explain what are the various types of mutual funds are there, and how to invest in mutual funds, and which fund will suit you the most for your goal. I like to brief you. There are several types of mutual funds are available. Actually, earlier there are too many mutual funds are there, but SEBI or AMFI gave guidelines to categorize the mutual funds. So now we have clarity, and there are a limited number of mutual fund schemes are available. Based on the risk profile, I am going to explain actually. First, whatever the fund I am going to tell you is the lowest risk. Then we will move to highest risk. The lowest risk is overnight mutual fund, then liquid fund, then savings fund, then low duration mutual funds. Afterwards, corporate bond funds, then gilt funds. Afterwards, equity saver fund. Then we have balanced equity funds, then equity funds, and afterwards sectoral funds. So in my opinion, the funds which are sectoral are the highest risk, and the funds which are lowest risk are liquid funds. So if you are do not want to take any risk at all, but if you want to fetch slightly higher than your bank fixed deposit, then I suggest you to invest in the liquid fund. For example, if your goal is after 20 years or 30 years, when you are about to retire, for that you wanted to invest for the pension, then I suggest you to take a fund which is having highest risk, that is small and mid cap funds or sectoral funds. But comes to sectoral funds, I advise it is better not to invest into that fund. For example, I think a couple of years back when Modi government announced about this housing for all, HDFC started one sectoral fund, that is building materials fund. It is a closed-ended fund, I believe, and people just blindly invested a lot of money into that fund, thinking that it is going to give phenomenal returns. But to our utter dismay, this fund has performed very badly because of change in the market conditions. Another classification of mutual funds is based on the way we invest and we redeem from the mutual fund. That is, one is open-ended mutual fund, the other one is closed-ended mutual fund. In case of open-ended mutual fund, you can invest or you can redeem your money or units at any point of time during the market hours. Whereas closed-ended schemes cannot allow you to redeem or make any fresh investment into such a scheme until the period of stipulation. For example, let us say if there is a closed-ended scheme for 3 years, then during these 3 years you can't do anything. The window is closed. After 3 years, when fund is matured, either they will pay back to their investors, or what they will do is they will make that mutual fund into a open-ended scheme, so that a fresh investment or fresh redemption can be done by the investor to his choice. This is broad classification. The other classification is based on the instrument in which the mutual fund is going to invest. So broadly, mutual funds will be under two categories. One is debt mutual funds, the other one is the equity mutual funds. In case of debt mutual fund, as the name suggests, it is going to invest in the debt instruments. These debt instruments are typically issued by both government and as well as corporates in order to meet their working capital. It's like corporate bonds and government securities, T-bills, commercial paper, or certificate of deposit, and other money market instruments. We call it as debt. The reason is whoever is issuing these instruments will borrow the money from the lender, and upon the maturity or periodically, these companies and government will pay the interest. So these instruments are really good in a way. The interest rate is going to be fixed actually. As you might have seen from bi-monthly RBI review meetings, the interest rates, they are keep on reducing, repo rate and reverse repo rate, so that the interest rates are falling down. But these instruments which are issued quite long back are already having a fixed coupon rate. So these will really help in capital appreciation. But another aspect is these will come in very high denominations, like several crores actually. So retail investors like you and me cannot invest. So if you wanted to invest in these kind of instruments, the best way is choose a debt mutual fund. So that is about debt mutual fund. Now we will move to equity mutual fund. In equity mutual fund, predominantly meaning 80 to 99% or 100% of the money will be invested in equities or equity related derivative products like futures and options. I don't want to go into that one, that is going to be a separate session, but remember it is going to be in equities and equity derivatives. A small portion of the money they will keep it in the form of cash actually, so that any redemption pressure from the investor to cater that one. See, this debt mutual funds, again I will broadly classify into two categories. One is credit risk funds, other one is non-credit risk funds. Let's say in case of non-credit risk mutual funds, they won't invest into any of bonds or corporate borrowings. So they will predominantly invest into treasury bills actually. These are treasury bills or T-bills are having maturity period maximum 91 days only. So they are like T7, T14, T21, T45, T90, like various days duration is there. So these are highly liquid and there is no risk of any defaulting. And these also invest into corporate borrowings or corporate commercial paper, but they are highly secured actually. They are collateralized and also they will come with debt serving obligations. In those obligations, what happened? In case of liquidation of the company, these instruments will be paid highest priority. So the risk of defaulting is very less actually. These are called as non-credit risk mutual funds, and in that I will put liquid funds and savings funds. So if someone wanted to invest in safest mutual funds, they can think about this liquid fund and savings fund. The next one is credit risk fund. So as the name indicates that there is a risk of defaulting by the corporate bonds. So we need to be little bit careful when we are going to invest in such schemes. So in that also we will see there are certain duration based funds are there, like to start with low duration fund is there, then ultra short term fund is there, then we have short term fund is there, then we have money market fund is there, then medium term fund is there, and long term debt fund is there. So depending upon your risk profile, you can choose whichever the funds you need into this one. But remember, in this corporate bonds are still less, and maximum duration period is only up to 1 year only. But you need to be a little bit careful. For example, recently I myself invested into Franklin Templeton ultra short term super institutional plan. As the name indicates, it's ultra short term. So I thought that it is very low risk fund, and also the average maturity period of the instruments in which they invest is only 5 months. But to my surprise, what happened, because of this COVID-19 situation, they stopped this fund actually. In the 6 funds they stopped, this is one of the fund, and they told that they will liquidate all the funds or bonds whichever they are having in this particular scheme, and they will repay the retail investors and other institutional investors. But to my surprise, they are telling that it may take 2 years. See, the maturity period itself is 5 months. Why they are taking 2 years? Because these are extraordinary times. So we have to be little bit careful when investing in even debt mutual funds also. So if you do not want to take any risk at all, then I suggest you to stick to liquid funds in the debt mutual funds. Yeah. Now I come to credit risk funds. So credit risk funds are again broadly classified into two. One is corporate bond funds. The other one is credit risk fund. So in case of corporate bond fund, what happened? There is an obligation of the company to invest in securities or bonds issued by the companies which are having a credit rating of AA plus and above 80%. So I think now I have to touch upon what is this rating agencies. Out of there are Fitch and S&P and many rating agencies are there. We will stick to S&P for this purpose, which is very popular, Standards and Poor's. So what they will do is not only for companies, they will give even for governments also. You might have seen India rating is going to triple B or something like that. Don't worry about that. Now we will see about corporates. So the highest rating is AAA. For example, US is having a AAA rating. Germany also having a AAA rating. So companies which are having very high corporate standards and who are having a lot of cash on the books and who are having very good corporate governance, based on that they will give these ratings, and also their capacity to repay the debt. For example, AAA rating is the highest. Then we have AA plus is there, AA is there, AA minus is there. Then we have BBB, BB plus, BB minus, then C, D, like that we have several ratings are there. Let us say if you think that D is a good rating, what is there? It is A to Z, and I want to invest into D rating companies, means please be careful. D is the lowest rating, and that is nothing but junk status or default rating, because whoever is going to take money, they are at default risk. They may not repay any of the money. They may not honor whatever the debt instrument they issued. D is the lowest. So now what happened, as I told you, in case of corporate bond debt fund, they have an obligation to invest 80% of the money they pooled should be invested into AA plus and above companies only. That is AA plus and AAA. So they are relatively safe. But Yes Bank, I think once they have AA plus and now they went down to BB minus, I believe. Even C also they have given at one point of time. So these risks are there. So if you are prepared for that risk, you please go ahead and invest into corporate bond funds. The next one is credit risk fund. This is still at higher risk. The reason is in this 65% minimum they have to invest in the bonds which are AA minus or below. So the reason why they are going to pick such bonds is they want to generate higher capital. As you know that, let us take AAA rating of America, and if you buy America Treasury bills, you will get 0.5% interest rate. Whereas the corporate bonds issued by some lower grade companies or lower grade countries will have 9 to 11%. If it is C status, you may expect even 15% also, but there is a high risk is there. So here fund manager in credit risk funds need to be very careful, and he will be having a large pool of companies, so he can filter and he can figure out which are the good companies among the poorly performing. The poorly performing mainly may be due to certain macro reasons. It need not be macro reasons pertaining to that company alone. So this way they can generate you good capital appreciation, but be prepared for risk actually in credit risk funds. For example, I invested myself in ICICI Prudential Credit Risk Fund, phenomenal returns. It has given me 9.9% return for 2 years. But slowly, because of these reasons, I am moving them into liquid funds actually. I don't want to take any more risk. So you can think about credit risk fund if you have good risk appetite. Before moving to equity funds, the last part in the debt funds is there are two more interesting debt funds are available to your choice. For example, banking and PSU fund is there. So as the name indicates, here predominantly they will invest only into banks issued commercial paper and also public sector units like ONGC, Oil India, and other like HAL. These public sector units, whatever instruments they issued, debt instruments, in that they will invest. These are relatively safer because government is, these are sovereign, right? Government is having backing. Government is the major investor in these companies, so you can expect that default risk is very less, so you can invest. But who knows, this BSNL, MTNL, and this other such companies, they may default, so you need to be little HMT. So you need to be little bit careful even while investing into that fund. And the last one is gilt fund. As the name indicates, these are going to invest in purely government or sovereign issued bonds only. So only government bonds they are going to invest, like 80 to 90%. Remaining one may be related similar instruments they may invest. And gilt funds also will give you good risk, good return, but little bit of risk is there here also. They don't have any credit risk, but they have interest rate risk is there, because whatever the bond values typically will inversely proportional to interest rates. For example, if interest rates are going down, then bond rates will go up. Likewise, vice versa. So that fluctuations will be very high whenever interest rates are changing. Your NAV value also will fluctuate. So you need to be a little bit cautious when you invest into this gilt funds. So we covered in detail about debt funds. Now I like to move to equity mutual funds. In case of equity mutual funds, they are going to invest predominantly into equities and equity derivatives, futures and options. So equity is nothing but each company will have a equity capital or share capital. They will divide that into 10 rupee or 100 rupee face value. So each share will have a face value of 10 rupees, and that will have their market premium together. So these stocks they will invest in equity mutual funds. And these are a little bit risky actually, because of not only pertaining to the sector in which these companies are operating, and also sometimes global phenomena like this COVID-19 and all going to affect the company performance. So equity mutual funds are a little bit risky. In nutshell, we have small cap funds, we have mid cap funds, we have large cap funds, and then we have multi cap fund is there. In this entire category, I like to suggest you to go into multi-cap funds. For example, ICICI multi-cap fund is really doing good, and also Mirai emerging fund is actually emerging means small cap. But what happened? The fund manager smartly converted this into a multi-cap fund. The reason also I will explain now. Why I am telling you to invest into multi-cap fund means, take HDFC mid-cap opportunities fund. This fund has given phenomenal returns actually. The total value is nearly 25,000 crores actually, AUM size, asset under management it is called. So the fund manager has had a problem where to invest the money, because everybody is pumping money into that scheme, and he cannot invest, he cannot find out so many quality mid-cap companies. So he really struggled, and he made some poor investment decisions, I'm guessing actually. Because of that, the fund performance has gone down actually. From 5-star it has now 3-star I believe. So why I am telling you is, now SEBI is told that mid-cap companies should at least invest 80% of their money into mid-cap companies. So now if they invest only 80% means what happened, some mid-cap assume that capitalization gone up beyond 5,000 crores, then he is forced to sell that company because it has become a large cap. So that is, although the fund manager do not wanted to sell that because he believe in the long-term growth story of that particular mid-cap, which has become now large cap, he is forced to sell because of this SEBI guidelines, because mid-cap mutual fund should invest 80% into mid-cap companies only, 20% only the leeway. So that's why I am suggesting you to think about only multi-cap fund, whereas this kind of risk will not be there in the multi-cap fund. So he can across all the capitalization of stocks they can invest. That is the reason Mirai emerging blue chip, although name suggests mid-cap, it can invest into large cap. So the fund is still doing good, but yeah, it's not up to our expectation. Only time will tell, but strong believers in equities like me, we are still continuing our systematic investment into this one. So think there are blended funds are there, nothing but they have a combination of equity and debt together, varying proportion, and these are called balanced funds, balanced advantage funds, and then we have equity savings funds also there. So what this balanced fund is going to do is, in this 35% will be invested into equity and 65% will be invested into debt. And in equity savings fund also, they are going to invest 35% in debt and 65% they are going to invest into equity. But they will invest predominantly into equity derivatives. The reason why these balanced funds come into picture is, they wanted to give a blended return to the investors. For example, these smart people like you and me, we can invest into either debt fund or equity fund. But whereas certain passive investors and old age old investors who cannot pay attention to various funds, they can choose this balanced funds or equity savings funds. They can invest. And equity savings fund purpose is slightly different. What they have done is, for example, debt fund earlier we have 1 year is the period actually to get capital gains tax, but now that is extended to 3 years. So equity savings fund, what happened, it is kind of deceiving whatever the government mandate. What they are going to do is, it is going to give you the benefits of a equity mutual fund, but it is works as a debt fund. What they are going to do is 35% as per the stipulation they will put into debt. Remaining 65% equity, in that only 10 to 15% they will put into equity, and remaining 50% they are going to invest into equity derivatives. What they will do is arbitrage and also the variations in the cash delivery and in the futures contracts. They are going to play around. They will just hold large sum of money in equity derivatives, but that may result in a small percentage of return. It's not a long-term investment. It is only to meet the mandate given by the government. So, but even in the equity savings fund, there is going to be 10 to 15% of equity portion is there. Be prepared for volatility. But it is really good if somebody wanted to get capital gains benefit, they can think about equity savings fund. Regarding this capital gains and also indexation benefits and all, I am going to discuss in a separate session because this session already took quite some time. Thank you for watching.